All right, hello everyone. We're back with some tomfoolery today. Today I will be hosting. I'm the host, Mac.
You're the host?
I am the host.
He's putting his foot down.
I am the law.
I am the law.
And with us we have Adrien.
Hey, what's up?
And Bren.
I'm just snotting it up over here.
Yeah, I think we're all kind of fighting that off.
Coming back from the brink of
Yeah,
war.
but like last
Adrien
two podcasts,
spread the wealth of his
Hey,
sickness.
I didn't
to us all.
spread the wealth. I just didn't help the case.
Yeah.
I'm going with I blame you for all my
Hey
problems.
man, Guardians of the Galaxy got us sick.
I think what it was think about it like building a bonfire. So we're all the kindling, and the movie theater was the spark, but Adrian's like his infectiousness was the accelerant you throw on the bonfire to start.
He just threw some lighter fluid on it. I didn't light the fire. I just threw lighter fluid all over the place.
I didn't light it. I just helped. It didn't make the situation any better.
If anything, we excuse our snotted, snorting, coughing, and our general shitting sound because we're all coming back from the brink of death here. I almost choked to death in my sleep 3 times this week.
Wow.
You ever like have your mouth hang open when you sleep and you wake up and your tongue's like rock solid at the back of your throat?
God, that sucks.
It sucks, man.
It's not fun.
Yeah, I just like those times where you wake up and it's like your nose is like, it feels like there's like concrete in your nose.
Yeah.
It's like,
Oh.
this is dead. Like my nose is useless now.
Yeah.
I might as well just cut it off.
There's been multiple times I woke up and I don't know how you guys are with your sinuses, but I'm like, if you shift your head one direction, it's like all sliding to one side of your head.
Yeah, you can feel it moving.
Yeah, like one side opens up and the other clamps shut like a Venus flytrap. And there was one point a few days ago when I woke up and my head was in the perfect position, laying flat, and I could hear the coffee maker going, and both my sinuses were open. And I was just thinking to myself, like 10 minutes I'm laying there not moving a muscle. I go, I dare not move because if I do something, both of them are going to clamp shut, man. Like,
I'm going to die. I'm going to suffocate.
I enjoy this breathing I'm having at the moment, you know? So, all in all, it's passing, but, you know, holy shit, man. That's like one kick in the ass before fucking spring really sets in this year.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, of course. In our winter wonderland we live in.
Hey, man.
Yeah, it hasn't been that bad the last couple weeks, and then now is like, I'm more sick this week than I have all winter.
Sometimes I think it's like cosmic timing that we had a cold, like a cold snap, just as we all get sick.
Yeah.
It's like if we're going to be depressing, the world's going to be depressing with us, too.
I think there's a lot of like pollen and shit in the air, too.
Yeah.
And I feel like I have allergies. I've just been lazy to not.
It could happen from what I understand. You could develop allergies later in life.
Yeah. But like.
Back in allergies.
Yeah.
That's priceless.
Yeah.
What's wrong with that?
No, back in the day, like his mom would smoke like a chimney inside the house.
Yeah, my mom,
and then
you remember my mom? She was bad for smoking in the house.
Yeah, and then
God rest your soul, right?
She's still alive.
Rip. Yeah, but anyway, like they also had cats, and then I would be coughing a lot in their house, and then my mom associated that with me being allergic to cats, not the fact that there was a fog in the house. That has nothing to do with. That's irrelevant.
It's like mainland China in the Alberola household.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, it was Neb's, buddy, my mom's place. My dad is the Alberola.
Yeah, yeah. So then they were like, my mom's like, yeah, that's the reason why you're.
They get you up on the Flonase or the whatever allergy medication.
No, like I've taken like Reactid and shit, but like I feel like every spring and fall I get like just.
I'm constantly questioning whether I'm gonna develop allergy symptoms at some point in life. I thought this was an allergy symptom developing,
and then it just escalated to a point where like it's no longer an allergy.
Yeah, and then I'm laying there. I'm like, no, this is a fucking cold, man. I can feel my throat going. Yeah. Snotting it up all over the place.
Yeah, that's just it. My throat didn't go. That's why.
Yeah, my throat was.
Yeah, you both complained about your throat, and I'm like, I was fine. The most that happened to me is I lost my voice before I got sick.
Well, it's because you're so used to sucking all that dick that your throat's not used to.
Yeah, it has a nice glaze on the inside.
Yeah. It's like a jelly donut in there.
It's jelly donut.
Oh, so that's why Long Johns used to be cream filled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He doesn't only throw axes at his job; he catches them too.
Yeah. That's exactly it, man. You can go yourself.
This is a PG rated.
Yeah.
The kiddies, as long as the adults are there, the kiddies can hear us say, "Fuck."
Anyway,
have to emphasize the F.
yeah.
So how you guys been though? Besides being snotted up this week.
Actually, I read a really funny article. I thought you guys would like this. Okay, so you know how the new Mummy movie's coming out with Tom Cruise and all that jazz, and they're trying to hype it up again. Well, a news article came out. Some lady in the States, she was like a tennis instructor or something like that.
Oh, hold on. So is today's theme sickness and cinema?
No.
I like that. Let's go with that.
Let's go sickness and cinema.
Sickness and cinema. Yeah. Okay.
Sure.
Continue.
In cinema or and cinema?
Ampersand.
Ampersand, okay.
Ampersand. Okay, so anyways. So this like tennis coach, whatever, ended up stabbing her father to death over the Mummy movie. But not the new one. The Brendan Fraser one. Back in the...
OG Mummy?
No. This was the sequel, like Mummy 2, like the Scorpion King or whatever.
With The Rock?
Oh, The Rock does his like little cameo, 5 seconds there at the end of it. Yeah.
He's a Scorpion
With
King.
sub
And turns into
PS2 graphics.
Yeah.
Oh,
turns
so bad.
into a Scorpion Man.
It turns into a lump of CG clay.
Yeah,
in
where
the
it's
shape
just
of the Rock.
Yeah, that was pretty ridiculous.
Yeah,
so bad.
Anyway, how does that lead to a stabbing?
So basically, because she had recently gone through a breakup or something like that, and in the sequel of the Mummy movie, right? Because you got the Mummy one where they bring the guy back and all that jazz, and then like the second one they try to bring him back again, whatever. But with that, the storyline is like the father's keeping the daughter and that guy away, right? You can't be with the love of your life or whatever, and gets him buried. That's how the guy dies. So the daughter ends up, the daughter in the Mummy movie kills her father, stabbing him to death to like get her her love back, right?
Yeah.
So this, I guess this tennis instructor said the movie, quote unquote, very big quote unquote on that one, the movie got into her head and convinced her that in order to get her ex back, she would have to kill her father to do it. So she stabbed him in the chest twice and all this shit, and he was like a doctor and all this shit. So he was like...
Why didn't he just fix himself?
Yeah. Not a very good doctor then.
I don't think he was a very good doctor. If he was so smart, why is he dead?
That really makes no sense. Especially because the guy was like in his like 50s.
Yeah, so you should have experience about this.
Yeah, exactly. That's
It
like
happened at 3 a.m.
That's like 25 years of experience. You should know how to sew yourself back
It's
up.
his fault for not being prepared.
Yeah, exactly.
Good luck next time, scrub.
Get good.
Holy, just hard. But where's the mentality in all that? Like, how do you take such a stupid concept and twist it that drastically?
People be crazy.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm saying this without a hint of sarcasm that Brendan Fraser's performance was to die for in this movie. So,
He was pretty good. Now
went out on top.
Yeah, now Brendan Fraser's a little puffier than he was in those days.
Like you look bad for the man though. He had a divorce, and that woman took him to court for like all he's worth.
Oh, yeah?
As far as I know, he's got to pay her like, how much was it? Like $1 million every year.
Really?
Yeah.
And he's like not in shit anymore.
No, he can't. He's dealing with that, and I feel bad for the guy because he can't catch a break.
Yeah, and it's like he was big in like
George of the Jungle.
Yeah, George of the Jungle, like the Mummy movies, like he was in a bunch of shit, like Monkey Bone. He was in that.
Monkey Bone is a great movie. I love that movie.
I know, and it's a shame because if it's anything to aspire for, the man has a name very similar to mine, and it's a very fearful. Like, look at my future of what could happen if I ever get popular one day.
You could be dropped.
Yeah, no, I'll have to go get famous and swear that I'm gay so no one loves me. And I'll just reap the benefits, all the cash I'm making from these movies.
Yeah,
Those Mummy movies were good. Like the original one?
Yeah, the original two were good.
I don't remember it.
The first two, like the first one.
I don't remember the second one.
The second one is where they actually have the kid. The kid gets the bracelet locked on his arm.
Yeah, and they had that animated show that revolved around him with his stupid bracelet.
What?
Yeah, they had an animated show on like YTV Saturday morning cartoons.
Seriously?
Yeah, and it was all about that bracelet that he had on his right arm, and it was like let him shoot like laser beams or some shit out of his hand, and like I think it was like the mummy guy was trying to get to him to get that bracelet back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it was really bad. It was about the same time that like Jackie Chan Adventures was. Yeah,
and like Ace Ventura had an animated show.
Yeah.
And...
It was about that similar time period, if I recall. Yeah. It wasn't even that good. I barely remember it.
I remember the Ace Ventura show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
remember Jackie Chan.
Yeah, Jackie Chan was very
Jackie Chan Adventures. Yeah. Like that, the Mummy movie, my big memory is like in the first movie where the mummy steals the guy's eyes.
Yeah.
That scene freaked me out as a kid. I was like, when they showed him with the blank eye sockets, I'm like, that freaked me out as a kid. I was like, that's scary, man.
The horror, I can see into his soul.
No, it's just-
I've always loved this thing that I'd heard about that first movie. There's a scene in that where he's like Imhotep is in the room and he's kissing what's her face?
Yeah, with the
Rachel Weisz?
Rachel Weisz, yeah.
where she
Weisz.
still has like half his face missing there.
Well, kind of. It's complete. And then
He
as he's
does have like
kissing
a
her,
jaw or something?
yeah, as he's kissing her, like the life kind of drains away from his face. And somebody put this together, and I kind of agree with it, that he isn't completely restored yet, and his head is only proper because he's kind of keeping the life in his head.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
I get it.
what happens is when he kisses her, what else gets excited, and all the life goes down to his groin. Yeah, so it drains away from his face and gets kind of allocated to down there. You know?
I saw where that was going real fucking quick.
It's got to get to dick some way or another, man.
Yeah, it's gotta get wet, man. Oh Jesus, but yeah, no, really sucks. And then like, since you guys brought up like Ace Ventura specifically, that's another series that kind of like dropped off. Like, cause The Mummy went on and like they tried continuing it, and like as they tried adding more to the series, it's kind of like made it worse. Ace Ventura did the same thing. They had the first two, which were good. Then they tried continuing it. Yes, I realize you're looking at me like, what the hell are you talking about? That's exactly it. They are very C-list movies. They are very bad. It was
Jim
Ace
Carrey?
Ventura. No, that's just it. It's Ace Ventura Jr. and
Oh,
shit like that. They did spin-offs to try and bring it back in a sense and try and keep the comedy, but do it for kids.
That's like the Jamie Kennedy Mask movie.
Yes,
Oh,
exactly.
That movie, that's
I haven't seen that movie, but it
If you have-
looked atrocious. I'm like, hard pass.
And this is one thing. If you're making a sequel to the Jim Carrey movie, there's one thing you need. Jim fucking Carrey.
yeah. Or bust.
Yes.
Just cancel it, man.
That's exactly it. If you're going to do a sequel to a Jim Carrey movie and you don't bring back Jim Carrey, you just don't do the movie.
Like Dumb and Dumber 2, when the one where they go back. If they made
Oh yeah, Dumb and Dumber.
whatever it's called. If they made the actuals if they brought Jeff Daniels and Jim Carrey back then
Yeah.
that would have been a decent movie. Like
Well,
it
yeah,
was too
they-
late when they brought him back.
Yeah.
It was too far past.
When they
past
tried
their prime.
bringing out the, what was it?
I don't remember what it was called.
Dumb and Dumbest or some shit is the newest one?
I have no idea.
I think it's just Dumb and Dumber 2, but like TOO. Get it? Because they're stupid?
Ha!
Get it? They used the wrong too?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's something like that. Like, Mac and I saw that in theaters, but like,
Completely forgettable, I bet.
yeah, kind of. The premise behind it was pretty, like, lackluster, really.
Did they ever bring back that headless bird?
Yes, actually, they
Did
do.
they really? I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, no, they do reference it again.
I feel so bad for that fucking bird.
Yeah, because
What
they
is
were-
with like old Jim Carrey movies and small animals getting harmed like terribly? The Ace Ventura 2. There's a raccoon that fucking falls from a mountaintop in a very
dies.
dramatic scene.
Spike!
Yeah.
Spike!
And it
Yeah, and
dies.
he drops to his death. Like,
Yeah.
oh, it's so sad, man.
He has his collar or whatever,
Yeah.
and the collar rips off him.
Yeah, it's so sad. And like,
Yeah.
you got Dumb and Dumber where that bird gets beheaded. That wouldn't fly in a movie these days.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
Yeah,
original-
PG movie, there's bird decapitation off screen. And it gets taped back on in a mockery of human ingenuity. You know?
Yeah, and sold to a blind guy because he won't know any better.
Yeah.
Pretty bird, pretty bird.
He fucking he breaks the head off. And like, it's taped on and he's petting it and the head falls off in front of camera.
Yeah.
Like, that's horrifying, man.
I just love when they cut back to it, and then it's just like a news story, and then the kids are like, I just thought he was real quiet.
Yeah.
It's like just freaking out, and then the whatever name that Jim Carrey's after is like, what kind of sickos would do that? He's just like, he's like, I don't know, who would do that?
Yeah. Like what if like a Disney Pixar movie came out like Toy Story 4 and
Actually, that's in the works.
yeah, I know. They're bastardizing the integrity of the Toy Story 1 and 2. Regardless, or I could piss Adrien off and say irregardless, that'll get you. What if like 4 came out and the little girl that has the toys now, like actually they probably did this at some point, but what if she like breaks the head off of one of them and all the toys have to pretend that nothing happened, like they're doing their inanimate thing, and she's playing with the toy and one of the heads snaps off and they have to like watch as like the child parades this headless corpse of their best friend, you know, all for the punchline of a kid's movie.
Well, yeah, like, no one ever thinks of that, too. Like, in Toy Story, like, what if a toy died? The owner's not gonna know.
Well,
and
like,
the toy's dead. Like the rest of the toys will know. Like the toy's not gonna get thrown out unless it's broken.
well, Sid in the first movie, he has like all the Frankenstein
Yeah.
toys where he
Which is really
has
horrifying
like
when you think about it from
that
the toy's
fishing pole
perspective.
with the Barbie legs.
The
and,
hooker.
Yeah, it's called a hooker.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
a hook.
Yeah.
Movie trivia that 90% of the population loves to whip out
Yeah.
for 500, Alex.
The IMDb trivia.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
in the book.
Yeah.
But again, those toys, seeing that from that from their perspective,
Or like
that's
the
probably
spider
horrifying.
with the spider with the baby head on it.
Yeah, that's scary.
Yeah,
Like,
it looked like a
I'm
Wild Wild
not
West
gonna lie,
out there.
that toy kind of tripped me out when I was a kid.
I mean, it was cool.
Like
I
yeah,
wanted
but it was a
one when I
little
was a kid.
free. Yeah, well, yeah, you like wanted it, but it was like a little freaky when like you first see it in the movie. It kind of catches you as like, oh shit, like the fuck's gonna
This dude's a
happen?
messed up kid.
Yeah, well, yeah, you knew that from the start. But I gotta admit, like looking back at it, it's kind of funny seeing a kid running around with like a magnifying glass, like, oh no, you're melting.
He's just being a kid too.
Oh.
Like he's the bad guy just because he's a little rambunctious. But if anything, I sympathize with Sid because by the third movie, the time that rolls around, he's a garbage man.
Yeah, I know.
Which is supposed to make you feel like, yeah, motherfucker, you're a garbage man. You got no future. But they show him and he's fucking loving his job. He's listening to music and he's jamming out, like throwing garbage out, and he walks off and he's all the better because he doesn't know any better. And it's like, he's got it right.
Yeah,
he's
happy.
doing what he loves. He's happy. He's jamming out the music, and I'm supposed to feel sorry for the man?
Yeah.
No, he's got it made.
It's not like he's just like all. I haven't seen the third movie, and I saw I think the second one once.
Yeah.
And it's like, but
Missing out.
meh. I hear Toy Story 3 sad, and I'm like, man, I don't really care.
No, okay, Story 3 isn't exactly sad, and by now I expect most people have seen it by now. If you haven't, I'm spoiling
Neither
it
have I.
anyways. Nonetheless, the reason people say it's sad is because there's a scene in it where almost all the toys get tossed into like a big fire burner.
Yeah, I heard
And they almost die. It's like this big, like, dramatic scene. They make it really intense. And, like, you're supposed to feel all this emotion because you're like, oh my god, Woody is gonna die! And, like, that's about it. Like, he almost dies. And then, like, they try to pull on your heartstrings a bit where it's like, an abandoned toys ended up at a daycare. And, like, because they're at a daycare, they get mistreated and beaten up and all this shit. So it's kind of like they're in some, like, concentration
Like,
camp.
what do they want? What's their end goal there? Do they want, like, someone that loves them? Well, those kids love them.
In a sense.
Yeah,
Who
they,
they did,
they just love
fucking-
him from 9 to
Well,
5.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's just it.
When it's
like,
good for them.
but, like,
Yeah.
Woody and all the guys...
When it's convenient for me, I will love you. Otherwise, get out of my face.
Yeah, but Woody and all his buddies want to get home and all this shit, and then, like, the big guy who's in charge and was abandoned and feels like, people are bad.
What's his name again? Like Hugs?
Yeah, it's Hugsy the bear or some
Like
shit.
Hugs a lot or some shit.
Yeah, some shit like that. It's a big purple bear.
I was gonna say it's funny you bring up that climax because there was a prank that I saw. Haha, YouTube pranks, right? This is an actual prank. There was some guy who showed his mother the movie, but he edited the footage so that the scene where they're gonna go into the fire and it fades to black, he just inserted the credits there. So it's like all the toys are going into the incinerator, fade to black, and then credits roll. And the mom was like crying at this. Like she genuinely thought that's when the movie ended. Like what a depressing end, right?
That's a good prank.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Like I feel a little bad for his mom, but only a little.
There's a lot of movies like that where you can just like, where it's like, oh, imminent death, no, fade to black, and then
Yeah. And then you remember you're watching a Disney movie where that's not allowed.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
things dying.
The only sad times are at the beginning of Disney movies.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this sad thing happened. Now we have
No,
to.
there's 2 points.
Yeah.
The beginning and about 2/3 of the way through before the big climax.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because that happens every fucking
Yeah.
movie.
It's like Bambi's mom died. No,
Yeah.
now I have to become a better person and
Yeah.
whatever. I don't remember.
or like the depressing departure of friends where they're all
Yeah.
depressed for a moment and sad music.
And then they all come together.
Yeah.
Wait, that sounds a lot like every superhero movie.
It's like every movie in general.
Yeah.
Lazy screenwriting sells, man.
Yeah.
I was gonna one in particular that gets me, and it's a good movie. Big Hero 6.
Okay.
Why they got to be depressed and departured for like 2/3 of the way through the movie when you know they're all gonna get back together. I called this months before that movie came out. People were going, I love the design of Baymax. He's such a cool character. I'm like, motherfucker, they designed that character to die. Like, you look at him, he is adorable, he is going to die for sure. And because it's a modern movie, he's not gonna die, he's gonna be thought to be dead and brought back later, a la like Iron Giant,
Yeah.
which they fucking did, you know. Or he's gonna have a thought death, and he's gonna be like brought back from death right as the big climax. He's gonna emerge victorious, and heroic music plays. Everybody's fucking happy. Close credits.
Woo!
Yeah, you know I called this. I was like, you look at the guy. He's big, squishy. You look like you could stab him and he'll fucking explode. You know, he's made to die. Characters like that, you can see them from a mile off. It's like any movie with a dog. That dog's fucking dead, man. You know, dogs in movies are just like they're typecast to be killed at some point, and it's a life lesson for everyone by the end of it.
Yeah. The one thing for dogs, I just think of I Am Legend, and then
Yeah.
where people were so sad that the dog died, and they're like, but Will Smith died. Oh, don't care about him. But the dog died.
It's a cheap ploy to pull on people's heartstrings
Yeah.
because like you've got, and this happens with people in real life situations too, where you know how we talked about like me looking at people's profiles, figuring out how fucked up their mentality
let's not get into last week.
No, this one I'm gonna let you guys know. There's some things I check out like
Motherfucker.
just like car accidents, shit like that.
Oh,
you know?
okay.
It's just weird to see
dash
people.
cams.
Kind of, yeah,
Yeah.
like Russian dash cams and shit
Yeah.
like that.
Oh man, I'm pretty certain like everyone's seen this one. You guys have seen the guy, like the motorcyclist who rams the back of a car because they hit the brakes too soon and does a front flip and lands on the hood.
I've seen multiple of people getting fucked up on motorcycles, man.
No, like this guy, like he ends up flipping on top of the car and sits on it, and then the guy stops and he gets off the thing. And he's like perfectly fine, but like he hits the back of it and flips onto it like Spider-Man shit.
Yeah, I think I've seen them.
Yeah, I saw one like this week or something where it's like it looked like straight out of like GTA or something, where it's just they're stopped at a stoplight, and then all of a sudden a prop plane comes out of nowhere on fire and crashes into a building or crashes into like the ground or something.
That was the plane crash that happened like I think a week ago.
Yeah, it
So
just happened, and it looked like it was out of like GTA. Where
I think it was
just,
in like Texas or something like that.
yeah, it was in the States, and then it was just like. No one seemed to react. Like everyone just stopped at a stoplight, and all of a sudden a plane on fire just comes out of the side and lands on the road.
They need that one civilian who's like walking quietly down the sidewalk, gets too close to the plane, and like immediately 180s with their arms above their head.
Flailing around like an idiot.
But to the point I was getting at is that you see these videos of people getting fucked up, and it's all fine and dandy, but like one video or like some piece of media of an animal getting fucked up, and people lose their shit.
Yeah.
It's like the what do you call that? The bull rodeos in Mexico?
Yeah.
Bullfighting.
Bullfighting,
You know?
that's
Yeah,
right.
they throw the darts at the bulls and they bleed out. People hate that because
I didn't know that.
It's a tradition down there.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's fucked up and barbaric, honestly, but
Like I know of the idea of like if you beat it, you kill the bull or something
yeah,
like
that's the
that.
intention. But when they do the toro thing with the coat, they actually throw a dart at the bull as it passes, and it's meant to aggravate them and cause them to bleed out. And once the bull gets exhausted, then it's slaughtered.
Okay.
And
I never actually understood that.
it's honestly, and I don't get it. It's more or less one of those things you could chalk up to. Well, it's tradition, you know.
Well, now, yeah.
A
but,
lot of
like,
stupid things.
Why was it
A
started?
lot of stupid things can be it's tradition.
Yeah.
That's
That doesn't give it a good. That's not a good excuse.
no, like that's like the people who say that's the way it's always been.
Yeah.
It's a terrible argument
Exactly.
because people are stupid and they were stupider back then.
Yeah, that gives me an excuse to throw more Winnipeggers under the bus, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, there's lots of
What?
I'll get to that in a
You
moment.
piqued my interest, good sir.
Sorry about kicking the table, people. I didn't mean to hurt you.
Yeah, but also the whole animal thing. Like, I'm not a pet person or an animal person.
Yeah.
And it's like I don't understand why people.
Mac hates animals. Just saying.
Yeah.
I don't hate animals.
I heard he kicked a small dog once.
Yeah.
No
It
more
looked,
offense.
it
Goal!
it looked at me.
It was part of the hazing in his engineering course. They wanted to see how hard he had to kick it to make it fly at a 45
Projectile motion.
Yeah. You learn about pivot mechanics and shit.
Yeah, exactly.
But the idea
Hold
that I
on,
was getting at.
interrupted Max thought there. Continue.
No, it's just like I just it baffles me that people think or like view animals as higher than people.
I don't particularly think people view them higher.
No, but like or even on par.
It's some semblance that a lot of people have little less sympathy for fellow humans because we know that like overpopulation and consumerism is a huge problem with like the world, and we also know that humans are fucking assholes
Yeah.
we're monsters, man.
Well, yeah.
And with animals, there's some semblance of like, almost
Innocence?
default innocence that like they don't know any better. So it's almost like watching a small child get injured essentially.
Yeah, like to our knowledge, they don't know any better. Like as far as we know, they can communicate and have their own like hierarchy that we don't know about.
Yeah.
But
I just view, our pet system seems pretty arbitrary. Which animals are pets?
Pets are kind of a weird concept when you think about it out of the character.
Yeah.
You're essentially keeping a small disabled child and you're feeding it when it's good for you.
Yeah.
You're just it's like a moving house plant essentially. You know.
Yeah, but where the people when people are like appalled by people eating like horse or other like across the world where they eat different animals that people here are like, I eat only cows and pigs and chickens, but how dare you eat that other animal? And it's like, animals are animals. If you're gonna eat an animal, might as well eat all the animals. That's how I don't care if you want to eat an animal, eat whatever animal you want, as long as you're not like torturing it. Other than
you know what you guys always teased me about living in like the Filipino-Ukrainian ghetto? Well, before the garage was put up here, we had the back gate leading directly into the back lane.
Yeah.
And we like to put our cats on harnesses here because we're fucking weirdos.
Yeah.
You know, how dare we leave our cat outside unregulated? You know, we put him on a harness, and I kid you not, I remember this very distinctly. One of my neighbors from down the road there came up to me while I was outside and says, "You better watch your cat. There's a Filipino man down the road eyeballing cats, and he looks like he's gonna steal some and cook them." And I was like, "All right, I'll do that." And they got on their merry way. I'm not gonna name names, like regardless, you guys don't know who my neighbors are.
Yeah.
But I'm just letting you know that this is an old Ukrainian woman that told me this, and it's like, watch out your cat. They're gonna cook them and make stir fry, and it's like, I'll make a note.
don't let them steal your cat.
Yeah, no, like I agree with your premise there. If you're like if eating animals is just eating animals, because like there's religions that view the cow as sacred, so other people eating cow is like appalling to them. Like no matter what, not everyone's going to agree. Don't even get me started on vegans.
Yeah,
I'm not a vegan.
I know.
I'm okay.
But you're a step in the wrong direction.
I have no problem. Like I applaud vegans and vegetarians and whatever.
No, vegetarians. I can say I can respect vegetarians to an extent. So yes, I do respect.
You just
to an
hate
extent.
the idea of veganism, not the actual part.
No, vegans is that's just.
You just hate the idea.
All right, hey, we'll take a step here. You want to get crucified on the internet? Explain your problem with vegans, and let's see how far that gets you.
Vegan power.
How to be hated in 10 minutes on the internet. That's literally it. No, I hate the whole idea of if it came from an animal, you can't have it. Like, that premise is fucking retarded. Oh, it can't have milk, it came out of a cow. You didn't have to kill the cow to get it.
Yeah, but you can. They keep them on like what is it? Pretty much on a non-stop pregnancy, like birthing calves to keep the farm going.
No,
but
no,
at the
like,
same time,
but not all of it though. Like, yes, I get like everything's gotten to the point where everything's used in a huge systematic order like that, where it's like we're gonna mass produce this shit, so we need to have like X amount. Like, yeah, I don't agree to like how it's done, but originally it used to be done by farmers in like the old-fashioned way. So like that's the way I look at it. Like, I don't think of how the big factories do it, and yeah, that's probably a reason why I don't view it the way most vegans do. So that's just me being an ignorant asshole. And I'm gonna be honest about that. I'm owning up to that, to me being an ignorant
disclaimer.
asshole. Yeah, disclaimer right there. But no, like that whole premise, like, yeah, I get like a chicken egg is a chick, and it ain't born yet. Like
I feel less.
Fertilized.
I feel less bad about eating eggs than I do about eating cheese and milk, because you got to remember that cows are like people, where they only lactate when they're pregnant, when they have a calf that they're feeding. So there's this nonstop cycle of pregnancy with cows, and it's less barbaric for chickens, even though they get treated terribly, like broken legs and all that shit.
Well, like I'm not saying like the animals don't deserve like to be treated better than they do, and I'm not saying like animals deserve to be slaughtered just for like the human good, right, or anything either. Yeah. I'm just saying like you got to find that healthy balance of it all. And I get like overpopulation and stuff and lack of population in animals and stuff. It's kind of fucking us over here.
Yeah.
So I do understand some of the premise behind it, and I do see the good in it, but like I'm a straight meat eater. That's just me.
Yeah.
Like I can't give it up, and I know I can't. But like the whole idea of giving up milk and cheese and eggs and like all these things just because it contains something from an animal, that's where that line for me is just kind of what the hell. Yeah. Like I'm okay with the I don't want to eat an animal, fine. You want to, if you have the strength to do that, fine. Like, I don't. I personally don't. I can go, like, a day or two without, but then I'm going to want meat.
Yeah, the craving sets in.
Yeah, then I want to eat meat.
It's an addiction, my friend. Break the shackles and set yourself above the rest.
I've got meat hungers.
I must eat. But yeah, no, like, that's just it. Like, I wouldn't say necessarily that people who are vegans are worse than anybody else.
I know.
I just don't hold them to the same respect because I find that one fine line of it came from an animal. That's where it drives me nuts.
It depends on who you talk to.
Yeah, like I know some people are like, oh, like fish is okay or something like that. Like some like have their like little gray areas that
baffles me. Yeah. But it's like I'm a vegetarian except for fish. Yeah.
It's okay. They don't feel suffering. It's like, well, who says that? Fishermen.
Yeah, it's like, oh, the fishermen say it's fine. I bet the farmer says the cow doesn't feel pain either.
They don't have attachments to their spawn.
Yeah. It's but like from a purely like environmental, we should eat way less meat because it takes way less energy.
It's like something like 75 liters of water per pound of steak or something.
Holy!
It's a huge trade-off.
Yeah, and it's something where it's like the amount of like food per acre of plants is like 10 times as much as meat.
Yeah.
And it's like
we should be eating those plants.
And that's the thing. We
Fuck the cows, let them starve. Give me that fucking whole wheat bread. I want it.
We have so little fields to give around for the amount of population we have, where it's like we need to be as efficient as possible with our consumption of food and stuff like that. So.
Well, that's primarily my reason for not eating meat these days. Like, I can't remember why I stopped at age 18.
Yeah, you stopped a while back. I can't even remember why. You just kind of stopped. I remember always like looking at you strange because anytime we'd do something or like order pizza or something, like, hey Bren, you want pizza? Like I'm getting this kind. You're like, no, it's got meat. I need this specific. And it's like, that's a fucking hassle.
Nowadays, it's like being a little bit more informed about the environmental ramifications of farming meat. It's like it's a huge fucking trade-off, and it's not. I mean, it's sustainable now, but given the population steadily increasing the way it is, I don't think it's viable to keep doing that.
Yeah, see, I don't want to get on the topic of like the population because I have my own very wrong views on how to solve that problem.
You're a huge racist, is what you're trying to say.
Actually, no, not at all. Actually, I view the criminal system should be a lot worse, in my opinion.
Execution.
Yeah, death penalty should be brought back.
We need to bring back the old Canadian punishment system where we hung them upside down by their ankles, and we had like a big dude in a gimp hat, and he had like a paddle.
Okay, for a second there, I thought you were serious, and then as soon as you continued that sentence, I realized you were just fucking with me.
Did you know that we used to do that until a woman saw it and was like, we gotta be nicer to these people, or else they're never gonna change? Disclaimer, people. I'm not serious.
No, in my opinion, like, the way I look at it, and I know it's a wrong way to look at it, and a lot of people will agree with me, and more people will probably disagree. But the death penalty should be brought back in certain instances. Like, if you killed somebody and you're found guilty of murdering somebody...
We will kill you back.
Pretty fucking close. What's the point? If you're not going to take the life you're given and use it for good, and you're just going to waste it and throw it down the drain like that, and murder somebody, rape somebody, whatever... Like, it has to be fitting. Like, this is why, like... I make this joke sometimes with people when they ask me on my view, and it should be like... the Indian law, where it's, you steal something. The fact that you
call it an Indian law really says where your place is.
Yes, I realize it sounds bad. I don't know the actual term, but like people understand what I'm talking about once I explain a bit more. And yes, whatever.
The savage law, you mean?
Yes, sure, savage law.
Humans.
Oh, fuck off.
Get back to
It's not what I was getting at.
The town folk.
Anyways, that's not what I was getting at. No,
Like
like,
dirty brownos, right?
motherfucker, this has nothing to do with Native Americans. I'm talking about India over the sea, motherfucker.
That's why the term India is for Native American people.
So dirty brownos holds then.
If I was talking about a dirty fucking Nietzsche, I'd talk about Brendan now. Okay, so, back to my point. Their law of, like, you steal something, you lose a hand, shit like that. That idea for me is intelligent. You're not gonna fucking do it again. You'll learn.
Are you calling Sharia law intelligent?
Not completely. Okay. Okay.
Boy, who's summoned to the ISIS Twitter now, huh?
Yeah.
No.
I'll join you there.
Okay. You're purposely twisting my words, you fuckface.
That's the point.
No, but
What's the fun in taking your word seriously?
because last thing I need
Viewers
is
can't
this coming down. Last thing we need is the wrong person hearing this and taking it seriously.
Listeners can't see, but he's kind of like he's vouching for Sharia law while also wearing a backwards cap with the word Dumbo on it. So don't take his word too seriously.
And above the hat, he has a hood, a white hood.
Yeah, why'd you wear that anyways? Why was someone burning wood in the shape of a cross outside?
Fuck off.
My neighbor is not pleased.
What, the Filipino neighbors?
Hold on, is that an angry lynch mob organizing out there?
Anyway.
Adrian, who are your friends out there?
They're dressed the same way as you.
Okay, this is getting a little overdone.
Hey, keep going.
Yeah, because now I'm just
Make
like,
your point.
So the reason I view that part is slightly relevant in the sense of is populations getting to that point of it's overbearing in everywhere.
Yeah.
So like if someone's like convicted of murder or multiple murders, like serial killers, shit like that, why are the taxpayers paying for prisons to stay open? Why are prisons staying open and being overpopulated by people who are just sitting there for lifetime sentences? Why are we going to let them live after taking somebody else's life? Somebody who could have deserved it. Like the aforementioned thing, the article I mentioned prior about the doctor who got killed by his daughter. He was taking care of people. I'm not sure what his practice was specifically, but he was living a life, he was taking care of people. Why is his life more valued than, not valued as much as hers? Why does she get to live in a prison, get fed 3 meals a day, have a roof over her head, and all this shit? Like, yeah, prison's not the best place to be, but she has all that going for her, but her dad's now dead.
I don't think
that one person's dead.
The way you talk, she's not going to prison. She's going to a hospital.
Well,
Yeah. If she's not mentally there, I don't think we should punish them the same as someone who has the.
Well, in certain instances, yes. I'm not saying if she's actually crazy, like off her head.
If she did that because of the Mummy too, she belongs in a hospital.
Yeah.
Like that's
okay.
That's
I'm just. I
the
use
lawyer
that as an
could just
example.
use that as the main article, and everyone would be people would be like, "Yep, hospital."
Yeah.
Like, I was just getting to as a comparison for the lives. I wasn't saying. So you're telling me every single person who kills somebody is automatically mentally unstable?
Once you do that because they get inspired by
yes, I wasn't.
The Rock.
I wasn't referring specifically. Okay, it had nothing to do with the Rock at all, actually. But
honestly, when it comes down to it, it's all context, and modus operandi makes the difference in every case. So whether or not they had like a premeditated reason they did that thing, and even if they did, whether that reason makes sense to the average person, like, oh yeah, the reason she did that was because she thought that killing her dad would bring the mummy back. That clearly is not the reason somebody would do it. Like, oh, they hated that person because they were a Jew, No,
I know, and that's what I'm getting at. Like, there's the differences in it.
Why did I go straight to Jew, man? What's wrong with me right now?
Do you have to go back to my last statement from last week?
Nobody called the cops. I'm sorry. Disclaimer.
Disclaimer.
So
anti-Semitism is bad.
But that's my point though. Like it all depends on that. But like if you look at, for example, Charles Manson, who sat in prison for so long after all the shit he did, or like all those other serial killers that like just rotted in prison, but like they were convicted, they were clearly guilty, all that shit. They don't deserve to go to a fucking psych ward. What's the point in keeping around, feeding them and all this shit just so they can sit there and be a fucking sideshow attraction, so to speak?
Well,
like
again,
that's where my mindset sits on that of why we should bring it back. Only for that aspect. The population's overgrowing as it is already. Why should we keep people who are murderers and then when they get released be told, yeah, there's potential they may convict again? If that's a fucking risk, why release them?
Yeah, justice system is far from perfect, but
Yeah,
as far as going like killing the mentally ill,
Okay, I didn't say kill
No,
mentally
I'd say
ill.
ignore the mentally ill. I think that was
He pulled that out of his ass. Like
That
he
did
just,
not pull that out of your ass. You
No.
made that argument.
Well, no.
But you didn't mean to be that. I think ignore the mentally ill. That's,
when I summarize that, I'm just it's hyperbole.
yeah.
When I say like something like that, I mean like it's all case by case. You can't
Like Charles Manson's mentally ill.
He's fucked up, man. He's got some weird ideas, but when it comes to someone like him, I'm in the same boat as Adrien that I think we should have put the poor pupper down. You know, he's clearly, he knows what he did. He has his reasons, and he was conscious enough to make that decision to go through with that.
Yeah.
Whereas someone who was, say, like the Slender Man girl.
Yes.
That girl had some fucking problems.
Well, exactly. I don't think like they should put her down or anything. Like she needs help, obviously, and that's why I'm saying like I don't think it depends on the case. It depends on the scenario.
Yeah.
And that's how I view it. And, like that's why it should be like I'm not saying it's ever going to be perfect. It never is.
Yeah.
Like you straight out said, our justice system is never perfect. Nowhere it is.
There's no such thing as a perfect judicial system.
No.
Because the problem with everything is people.
Fucking all blow the world.
Yeah. OJ is not in prison right now.
Is he not?
Actually, he might be in prison now.
I don't know. I'm unclear. I've never really.
Oh
looked into
man.
that.
Actually, speaking of OJ, remember like when we worked at RJ?
What a segue.
Yeah, I know,
You're
right?
so clever.
No, what was it? We were talking with Joe, and he was reading an article, or he was telling us he heard on the radio that, like, OJ's roommate or whatever from back then admitted that what OJ did actually was true, but he waited the allotted time so it couldn't be held up in court.
Oh, the statute of limitations?
Yeah.
Yeah, that. He, like, waited X amount of years, whatever that was, to confess. Like, I remember Joe telling us that, what was it, like 5 years ago?
That whole like documentary series was interesting as hell. Like just how his lawyers worked. Like
The Chewbacca case? Oh.
Anyway, I'm gonna ignore that.
I guess you don't understand the reference, never mind.
Never mind. The whole how they acted, and it's just hilarious how just skeevy the and how stupid the judicial system is, and how skeevy the lawyers are, just because that's how they win. Where they were obviously playing the race card in that one, because it's like that was '90s Los Angeles, which was very racially charged at that time. And,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, probably now too, but like,
Yeah, it probably hasn't changed much.
but still, like they were like wearing like African dress.
Yeah, he came into court wearing like the what do you call that?
I don't.
I honestly just picture OJ in this like yellow and orange fucking thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Negro shawl, you know.
The best is in that documentary series they showed a clip from SNL where Tim Meadows was spoofing that, and it's just like him putting on like those huge earrings. And it's just the funniest thing ever, where he's just like putting on more and more stuff, and it's just so stupid.
Oh my god.
But it's entertaining, and then they're talking about like because OJ like before the trial, like he dealt with majority of the people he associated with were white people, and then like they were doing the trial was going to their house to look at something, so they changed all the pictures with him with like black people.
Oh my god.
And then it was the lawyer was talking about it, and then he what did he say? He was like, if it was, I would have had him shaking hands with the KKK if that would have made his case better. And he was just like saying what he would have put on showed if whatever would help his case. And it's like it's a stupid system that shit like that works, but it's
and look what became of it. We got the Kardashians because of the fucking OJ case.
Yeah.
He's directly responsible for them being famous, you know?
it's their fault that one of his main lawyers was the Kardashians' father. Like Kim
Oh.
Kardashian's father was one of his lawyers.
And then they got rich.
Yeah,
and
they
then-
got rich because of that.
And then she had a huge ass. And then Ray J fucked it. And that got online. And now we got those motherfuckers being famous. I know, I watched it.
Yeah, what?
Just kidding. No, as far as I know, that's why she's like got popular in the first place. It's kind of like Paris Hilton, where they were kind of popular.
I don't
and then
understand how some popular people become popular. Where it's like you have famous or you have big rich families, and then it's just like now you have a name for yourself.
Yeah.
Well, from what I gather, mainly because I'm like watching Entourage, it kind of gives you a small insight into the fake world that is Hollywood. And I say very slightly because it is still a TV show about Hollywood, so there's only so much realism in it, right? But from what I understand, basically, if you're rich, have the money, have a slight name to yourself, you're gonna pull some weight somewhere, and like people will pull some strings to try and get you in certain places. So like you'll get into a certain party to talk to a certain person, so on and so forth. And if with that being the case, like I'm pretty certain the Kardashians just ended up meeting the right people at the right time.
Like Ray J.
Yeah, like Ray J.
And his little baby arm between his legs.
Sure. I don't know. It's not something I've seen.
And like
so.
Paris Hilton, they'd be like, "Oh, your last name is Hilton. I know that hotel chain."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. So like it pulls some weight, and like it could easily just be like because they know that their name holds money, they can invest in things, and investments lead to more money, and so on and so forth, which eventually makes them bigger, and then they can be like, boom, I'm gonna put my money down for my own fucking TV show and talk about shit and piss off the news anchor. God, I still love that.
Wouldn't that be great if during the Paris Hilton sex tape it was like a very subversive ad for like Hilton hotels? Like she's getting pounded, she's like, "Oh, these sheets are so soft. They feel freshly washed." At such an affordable price at your local Hilton hotel.
Good thing we put up our do not disturb sign because no one will come in because they know privacy.
With these deluxe drapes over the windows, no one will see us.
The air conditioning, it works perfectly.
This room temperature is so warm.
And just with the touch of a button, if it gets too hot, I can turn it right down.
Oh baby, I'm so loosened up by that so affordable wine you bought me.
That mini fridge was stocked full of so many choices.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
No,
I
there's a
love
lot.
that.
There's a lot of stupid ways people get famous nowadays. Like, as long as you can be slightly relevant or slightly entertaining for like a minute, like you can have a spotlight for the next 6 months, at least.
But now it seems like that cycle just goes through so quickly, where it's like,
Well, that's just it. Like, that's why I say roughly 6 months, because I really don't want to bring it up. I'm really annoyed about that I know about this, and I'm pretty certain Brennan knows about it too. I'm not sure if you do.
Is it YouTube drama?
No.
Talk all about how stupid that is.
that's nonsense.
No, I don't care about YouTube drama. No, there's this chick on Dr. Phil a while back. Like last year.
The How About Dad or
Yeah,
whatever.
the How About Ho. Nonetheless, yeah, and she got famous because the meme was made of her and all this shit.
Memes are a different story. They have a much longer lifespan than other people who are famous.
Oh,
for
I'm just spending that, like, that's what I'm using for my fraction of 6 months. Because, like, it didn't start out as a meme. She started out on a show, and then it was made into a meme. Like, that's just it, though. Like, because the whole How About That skit was thrown into YouTube videos as compilations first. Where it'd be, like, something and then thrown in, then it was turned into
I'm
memes
saying
and
if
all
it
that
wasn't so memeable, her life cycle would have been like a week.
Is this like
She
the
wouldn't
real
be
life
using-
version of Cartman on that reality show? Whatever, I'll do what I want.
shit. Yeah, pretty close.
It's like that, but in real life.
Yeah, well, there's plenty of those. Have you ever seen the one of, like, the chick, like, she looks like she's, like, maybe 11 years old, 12 years old. She's, like, pretending to be pregnant. I'm pretty sure this was on SNL. I really don't think this was real. But she was, like, kind
My
of going...
favorite
I
flavor
bet
of
it's
popsicle is dick.
Yes, that's exactly it!
I love that.
Yeah. I want to have a baby in a car, so I want to push it out and throw it out the window!
I can't believe that people are really like that.
I know, but, like, oh... God, but yeah, no, like, well, like, usually, like, YouTube stars, they're, like, if they're popular, they either have to be, like, really popular or they're nothing. That's exactly it. Like, I know of one guy because of Bren, which is PewDiePie. You mentioned him once. It's the only reason I know how relevant he is.
That guy has like.
Apparently, he's a big deal. Like,
He has like 15 million followers or something.
From what I hear, like, that's just it, though. For me, I've never watched a single thing he's done. I don't know anything other than what Brendan's told me is that he's done some Dark Souls videos and he panders to the preteen crowd.
Yeah, that's pretty much.
That's what I know of him. Like, I know there are some others out there. Like, I know of Epic Rap Battles. Those guys are out there. They're very popular. The Fine Brothers, they're out there. They're very popular. Like, whatever. There's a bunch of other shit that's out there. And there's the few that are very popular and you know who they are. You see them in a bunch of things. You've seen that they've escalated from just being YouTube. They're on other things. But whether it be on shows or whatever, like, I know Epic Mealtime, they have a couple of their guys that have been in TV shows and so on and so forth, and movies and such.
But like
Mainly
now,
that big guy, the one that
Harley.
plays, yeah, Ernie Calhoun there.
Yeah, from Epic Mealtime.
Yeah.
Epic Mealtime's a big
Yeah.
beard and motherfucker.
Yeah. Are you trying to look like him?
No, but hey, why not? That dude's have you seen him in high school, video game high school?
No.
It's
I
actually
don't watch
pretty
that
good
drill.
No, it actually wasn't that bad. But no, and like in the season finale, series finale, they're playing like a Call of Duty style game, but like, and he's in it. But he just comes up and he's fucking people up. He's flipping them over, snapping their necks, just punching them in the face. He's just wrecking
So
everybody.
you get a catchphrase like bacon strips and bacon strips and bacon.
Bacon weave.
Yeah.
I watched that for a bit, but like, there's so, the way internet now is like you could be such a niche celebrity. It's like, oh, you have 10 million or 10 million followers, but I've never heard of you. And it's like, it's not like it's some like random Asian guy or like a guy from a different side of the world. It's like this guy from
2 blocks over.
or like down the street. It's like a huge following, and I have never heard of him.
I'm gonna go run empty the wine sack, but I will tell you all about the ever-changing eye of adoration of the internet when I get back.
The eye of adoration of the internet. Ooh. Can I be in the eye of adoration, sir?
Cut.
I support Hitler. The Jews should have died.
Holy so out of nowhere.
We're not cutting that.
Keep it in. Uncut.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know if I should sit like this. I might bump the table, but it's comfy.
Don't sit so close to the fucking table.
No, but they can't hear me. The people are dying to hear my hot opinions.
Yeah, I'm
Adrian.
like, I'm like so far away from the fucking thing.
You got hot takes for days.
Yeah, I was getting at. We're talking about like the people being famous for like maybe weeks at a time.
Mm-hmm.
I see that firsthand. Again, you read like you generally read the front page of Reddit when you got time.
Yeah.
And you see this firsthand. It shifts constantly.
You sounded really Boston when you said constantly there.
Yeah, I'm stuffed up.
Yeah. I don't know why, but okay, go
The
on.
Boston comes out in me.
Yeah.
So there was a guy called the Hydraulic Press Channel.
Yeah.
He got kind of popular on that site enough that he got like a golden play button from YouTube, which is like
1 million views or something.
I think it's like 1 million views.
I don't
No,
know.
I think it's like 1 million subscribers or something.
One of the others.
No, it has to be subscribers because they don't give you shit otherwise.
Yeah.
Because they need to know that you're going to be popular enough that people will come by.
Yeah, he was famous for like 3 months and then he disappeared, because the reason being is he was like almost daily with these fucking videos. He was crushing shit left and right, and he was making huge upgrades to his whole setup for recording. He had like a blast shield and like slow motion cameras. Next thing you know, the internet fucking drops him because they got bored of him already. And it's like, you can't just go all in like that. You gotta kind of string them along. You gotta keep them interested. Little teases everyone.
It's also like things like that where most people they can get what they want from that whole video in a GIF.
Yeah.
Where it
Pretty much.
like a lot of slow-mo channels and stuff like that where if you give me a GIF of the best 6 seconds, they get everything they need. That's a problem for especially channels like that or like other slow-mo channels and things like that.
You get everything you need out of like a short span of time. There goes tons of
like,
views from you.
I don't need like majority of the people are like I don't need 5 minutes explaining what you're doing and other rambling nonsense. I just need that 10 seconds of what the meat of what's actually happening.
Yeah. There's this one guy, I never get tired of his shit, because he uploads every once in a while.
Yeah.
And it's always the same punchline. He deals with like electrical engineering stuff, and he came up with like homemade electric guitar. And it was essentially like a span of wire. It was just plugged into the wall. He fucking was like, all right, and here we test it out. And he fucking hits the string and like shocks himself straight up. The whole room blacks out and he wipes out on his chair. And it's like every video this guy does is just him fucking shocking himself in different situations, like custom made toaster or something. He pushes the button and fucking almost kills himself. That shit gets me.
Oh, that reminds me of a guy I saw. Steve-O posted a video of him recently. He's the new guy for Jackass. But like he has videos on YouTube or whatever where he like takes a taser and he like just puts it to his lip and knocks himself out and shit like that. He does this shit all the time. And like the one he did for Jackass, from what I understand, is like he rode off a ramp into cacti shirtless or like buck ass naked or some shit like
Yeah.
that. So yeah, like I understand your thing of watching people who just hurt themselves. I don't get why, but like people just love watching people get hurt.
It's there's a German term called Schadenfreude,
Yeah.
which is essentially taking pleasure in other people's pain,
Yeah, the whole
and it's a very human concept. You know, it's fuck. It ain't happened to me. I got mine. They're the ones getting hurt.
Yeah. They get hurt, so I don't have to.
Pretty much. Stupid. Why'd you do that?
You're an idiot. I'll be sitting over here doing other things.
All right, so the big meat process of our topic this week, Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Yeah, we should get around to that.
Yeah,
shouldn't
it's been out for almost a week now, but we caught it last Thursday, one of the first viewings.
Don't watch it. I caught a cold watching it.
Yeah.
0 out of 10. Would not recommend.
Guaranteed cold.
Yeah, guaranteed to make you sick. Yeah. No, I think this one did very good. I've already expressed my disappointment in the one plot point, but other than that, the rest of it was good. I enjoyed it.
Before we start.
Yeah, before we get too in depth, potential spoiler warnings. We may touch base on we may touch base on some facts of the movie that may spoil parts of it. If that does occur, we apologize. So fair warning if you wish to see
I don't
it first.
apologize. It's gonna get spoiled.
Yeah. I ain't saying sorry for nothing.
If you wish to see it first, I recommend doing that. You can come back and listen after. All right, we covered our ass.
They all died.
Yeah, they all died. They're not coming back.
You all died and spread a virus through the screen. I caught sick from it.
I'm next.
Infinity War isn't happening anymore.
I don't know. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good sci-fi fun movie.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't too serious. There was a few parts that kind of dragged on a bit too long.
Which parts were you thinking?
More or less, the scenes with the sister stuff, that really dragged on because it was just
Gamora and her sister.
Gamora and Nebula.
Yeah, Nebula. That's her name.
That shit dragged on way too fucking long. Like it just they could have summarized it in like one scene and just had it there, but they had to like keep making excuses to implement Nebula into the plot.
Yeah.
And-
Well, it's because she has a big part in Thanos' story.
But that's the only reason why.
Yeah.
It's just inserted for future movies, and
For the next one, actually.
it feels really fucking blatant when you watch it with that in mind. And it's
every
like,
time you beat me, he replaced my arm with a robot.
yeah, remember that Thanos guy who's not in this movie at all? You
Yeah.
know,
I
yeah.
hate
He wasn't even in the after credits this
No,
time.
it's like-
Josh Brolin.
They actually did
Gotta make sure they keep inserting him in the movies. Like, hey, don't forget about that big bad guy coming up.
Nudge,
Yeah.
nudge.
It's like I don't know, like it felt like a pretty fucking obvious insert that they had to keep reminding you that what's his name was going to be a thing. Thanos, yeah.
You literally just said it.
I
Josh
forget-
Brolin.
Yeah, Josh Brolin. Yeah. I remember him more as Josh Brolin, to be honest.
Yeah.
He's so unimportant in my mind as Thanos right now. But they keep inserting her just to, again, keep that point relevant because the movie has nothing to do with them.
Yeah.
And with Gamora, it's like they were struggling to find a reason to give her some of her own agency for the movie, you know? Like the stuff with Peter Quill, the whole like hidden romance between them. I kind of got that. It was cute, but the scene in particular that really dragged on was him relating their romance to like Cheers and other stuff like that. That scene went on way too far.
Was that one where he's talking about David Hasselhoff? And
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, he's like, oh, you're just jealous that I found my family. It's
Or
like,
it's like Jack and Diane, and where he's
yeah, like they both acted like moody fucking kids, and I didn't like watching that. It was, the dialogue was bad in that scene in particular that stuck out to me.
they kind of had Gamora have Nebula as their partner, and it was like Groot and Rocket were together, Drax and what's her name,
Mantis,
Yeah.
and then Quill and Ego.
Pretty
were
much, yeah.
pretty much there.
And their entire climax scene is they're just trying not to die. You know?
Yeah.
Everybody else is doing their own thing, and they're like, oh shit, random sticks are coming out of the ground, let's not get smushed. And then they just end up on top.
And then
that's
they're like, oh, there's one column that's going up to the very surface.
Oh,
Let's
how
jump
lucky.
on it.
It's almost like a screenwriter couldn't figure out what to do with us, you know?
How did we get from the bottom to the top?
Now we're here.
No, it started from the bottom.
Other than that, the movie was really enjoyable.
Yeah.
I do agree. I liked a lot of the comedy spots. Any quarrels you had with it? Before I put in my input.
Wasn't a big fan of Ego and his nonsense and
Yeah,
Kurt Russell.
That was my problem too. I didn't like Ego and his plot line. But.
His character was interesting.
Well, the funny thing is Stan Lee actually created him. It was Stan Lee and there was another big comic guy. It was Stan Lee and the other guy. They came up with Ego originally. Ego actually has a twin. Guess what his name is?
The Living Moon or something.
Alter Ego.
Ah!
And the best part is they end up fighting in the comics. They
Did they
fight.
just smush because
No,
they're
no.
big dumb rocks?
Alter Ego bites out the eye of Ego, and then Ego beats him, turning him into his own moon.
Oh my god.
So Alter Ego is now the moon for Ego.
I feel like Ego the Living Planet was a character who was written title first and story second. They just wanted a character who was a big dumb rock with a face on it.
Potentially, but no, like, and then there's like another brother that's just more of like a party planet type shit, and yeah, there's like a bunch of storyline behind that that's really weird. But like, yeah, I don't know. Ego's storyline I'm not a fan of, and like apparently the theory is due to how it ends, Peter actually doesn't get affected by it as much as you think, due to the fact of with Ego's tests that he did do, and none of them being successful in connecting to him like he had hoped.
Yeah.
But Peter being the only one that did, how would he know exactly that the turn of events would cause Peter to lose his abilities?
I mean, it's pretty fucking obvious that maybe the third one, the big climax of the movie is finding out, oh, hey, I still have these powers.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm thinking, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's the big thing.
He starts playing catch with himself.
Yeah, it's just like catch.
I love that scene.
That was a good scene.
That was one of my favorite scenes out of that movie was him making the ball and then it turns into cliche football tossing.
Yeah.
Like, that was the best.
Was he? Who was he talking to about that at the beginning of the movie? Was he talking to Gamora about that, or?
No, he was talking to somebody about how like he used to see a bunch of people playing catch with their dads.
Yeah, I think he was talking to Gamora about that at the beginning, before that, and then because he was talking about how he didn't have a dad, and that's where he brought up David Hasselhoff.
Yeah,
yeah, that was pretty good. Yeah, it was fine. They just started playing catch with the energy ball, and it was pretty good. That was a good scene.
How does Hasselhoff feel about that? His only viable career option in the spotlight is the butt of a punchline.
My question is, did they actually get David Hasselhoff to do the stand-in for the one scene that he had?
Probably, yeah. Probably. Well, he was in the credits.
In the credits.
Oh, was he? Oh, then yeah, I guess he was.
He was singing in one of those little bubbles that scrolled up.
Oh, I didn't see that.
And that was it.
Oh, okay. Any other quarrels you had with that one, Mac, or any other feedback?
I like the Drax was really good. Him and Mantis together were entertaining, and then Rocket and Baby Groot were also really good.
You are ugly. So if people love you, you know they love you.
Yeah, and even what's his name, Yondu. I actually I liked his little story arc there.
Actually, speaking of Yondu, this touches base on the after credits thing, and I'm pretty certain I explained this to you guys after the movie, but I'll explain it to our listeners. Yondu, what listeners? Yeah. The 5 we have, anyways. Yondu was originally a part of the original Guardians of the Galaxy, the 1978.
Yeah, and he had that big dumb fin.
Yeah, well, the fin he has in this one.
Yeah.
But he was part of the original Guardians of the Galaxy, and he was the only one that was actually brought into the first movie. That was. In the second one here, the after credits scene, you see Sylvester Stallone and other Ravagers, who are actually a part of the original Guardians of the Galaxy team.
Oh, okay.
That's why. Names.
Yeah, that's why they were all standing there at the end. That's why he's talking to them all, like he is, which is theory that they're going to become what's called the new Ravagers, which will be a version of Guardians of the Galaxy, but with them instead. That's the idea because Sylvester Stallone's in it, and he can headline his own movie and make money, right?
If you couldn't hear the air quotes, he did air quote on New Ravagers.
Just insert whoosh noises.
Yeah, whoosh noises. Yeah. So there's that, but like with the turn of events of what happened with Yondu in this movie, the question becomes, is it permanent or not? The whole scenario, will they make a comeback?
The big question is, are they going to give him the funding to just make Expendables in space? Watch the shit out of that. Just give Terry Crews a space auto shotty. Have him dismembering dudes. Like,
you know what? Put Terry Crews in almost anything and I'm probably going to see it. Terry Crews is a great actor.
I don't know about great actor. He's an entertaining actor.
Okay, yes, he's an entertaining.
He has entertaining roles.
Have you seen his paintings?
No.
The guy paints. Oh, he's so talented, trust me.
I'll believe it. Nonetheless, so with the after credit scenes, they actually did very good. There's 5 of them, which is kind of a little much in my books, but whatever. They all have their own point. Some of them are pointless, but some of them are good. Like the Watchers there with Stan Lee.
That was kind of just tacked on. That could have just been thrown away as a scene, really.
It could have been, actually, but the director wanted to put it in there because there's been a theory going around the internet, and anybody who actually follows the movies...
They probably heard this,
Yeah, they've probably heard this already, too. Most people have. But the big theory was that Stan Lee played the same character throughout all the movies, right? All the cameos he's done have all been connected, like, other than him playing himself. Like, in Entourage, recently, there was an episode that I watched where he's in it, but he's playing himself as a person. Right?
In the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
No, not in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
No,
No,
just always. They pretty much confirmed that Stan Lee's an alien.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah, they say Stan Lee is the Watcher for Earth.
Oh, okay.
So when he was sitting there talking with the Watchers, saying, "Oh, I got so many more stories," every cameo he makes is a story that he keeps and brings to the Watchers to tell them about the events on Earth.
Okay.
So the idea is that Stan Lee is a Watcher, but only for that. Which brings up the idea of when Stan Lee stops doing his cameos and eventually does pass on, because that's inevitable in everybody's life. What happens
Not
to
me.
the Watcher of Earth?
Not me.
Yeah, you're just gonna live
I'm
forever.
gonna live forever, yeah.
Yeah.
When I drink so
I'm
much
too good for
caffeine,
that.
my heart will never stop.
So full of energy.
So it brings up the question of what kind of idea will they bring in for that then? But I thought that was neat, and he wanted to put that in there to actually confirm it for everybody that, yeah, you know what, like, this is a neat little thing, and this now puts Stan Lee in his own universe, right? This gives him a staple point in his own universe of, this is who you are to everybody.
I'm still on the boat that they should have had an overarching story with him rather than pointless cameos, similar to McBain and The Simpsons, where if you put them all together, it was like a short spin-off HBO movie starring Stan Lee as a character.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it would have been better if he was the same character, but it was just always random guy number 3.
Yeah, like Spider-Man 3, there's a scene of Stan Lee jumping out of a window with a Tommy gun, and it's okay, why did that happen? And then years later, somebody compiles all the footage, and it's a short spin-off TV show about Stan Lee.
Yeah, or isn't he a janitor in one of the Spider-Mans as well, or something?
Yeah, and then he's a
like that.
librarian in another.
Yeah.
But to finish off my only other problem with the movie, that Mantis girl was forced into the plot.
Yeah.
She was a neat character, but oh boy, did her character feel so fucking forced in that movie.
Yeah, it really didn't seem like she held much value or
She
point.
had neat banter with Drax,
Yeah.
and the whole kind of MacGuffin about her putting Ego to sleep for some reason. I had no fucking clue what that was about. You tried explaining to me that he's unable to be turned off essentially.
Well, that's my idea. The premise behind it, because Mantis's goal, she's oh, I help him sleep.
But why?
Because he's a living planet, but he takes the form of a person for his plan, his great big plan of traveling the universe, right? Meeting people like Quill's mom and stuff like that. But from what I gather is in his human form, he doesn't actually get the chance to sleep because he's a constant being. He's a being of energy and light. So he's constantly on the go. He's a living planet. The planet's always going. The planet's striving for life at all times.
Yeah.
It never shuts down.
He's just the big brain from Futurama, really.
The big brain is winning again.
They've got big brains and big.
Now I will leave for no reason.
I just thought I've never heard of a celestial being having a need for sleep.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's just it. And what it could be though is just him having he spent so much energy out that he needs to try and recoup in some way or shape or form.
Yeah, it was.
They don't really touch base on it, so it's really
all of Ego's plot lines were pretty he wants to destroy the universe and have them all connected to himself because raisins.
Yeah.
No, he wants to absorb everything.
Whatever.
I get it. It ties in with his name, Ego. Everything must be him, essentially.
Yeah,
I get that.
His ego is too big for himself.
But the whole idea of him just needing sleep felt like a weird, I wouldn't say excuse, but it was a weird, forced reason for Mantis to be in there strictly because she's probably in the comics. I don't know for sure.
Yeah, there is a comic book character of Mantis. I don't know much about her though. I didn't look into her.
She a cute Asian girl too?
No, she's actually green.
Oh, that's boring.
Green. Oh, what a boring color.
Great. It's just like Gamora all over again.
We can't have two green girls now.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
No, I think actually the reason Mantis was thrown in there so hard is partially due to Mac's point earlier of they had to pair him off. Ego and Peter
What are
were
we
paired
shipping
off.
them
Pretty well. Drax and Mantis. You got Rocket and Groot. Rocket and Groot and Yondu, because Groot's like a fraction of a person. And then you got Gamora and Nebula. So like everybody had their own little bantering partner that they were talking with, that they had their own little sub storyline with, right?
Yeah.
Because Drax and Mantis were like, we're the two people who don't understand like interactions with actual people, so we like will be close because of that, and
We'll learn from each other.
Yeah, we'll learn from each other.
The blind leading the blind.
Yeah, pretty close. And then you got, Gamora and Nebula doing the whole sister rivalry of I just wanted a sister.
You mean the umpteen scenes of character shoots a gun at other character while screaming for 30 seconds?
Yeah, pretty close.
That was like every scene between.
And
the
then
two of
like you have the Rocket Groot thing. Which
Rocket-
movie did actually pander a lot to the Rocket struggles with parenting thing that everyone joked about after seeing the first trailer. Like that pandered to it a lot.
There was only a couple scenes.
There's quite but that was majority of the scenes you see him with like.
But
he
the
grabs
Rock,
that fucking thing, puts it on his head. Is like, no, that's not a hat. You don't do it good. I don't want to wear it.
but like the Rocket Yondu scenes, I really enjoyed those.
No, those were good. Yes.
But like I think Rocket had more with Yondu than he did with Groot.
Yeah.
Yeah, in a sense, I agree.
Like Groot was just adorable comic relief little guy.
Yeah, more like slapstick.
Yeah, where
Comic
like
relief,
the opening scenes when
Okay.
or the opening credits where he's just dancing along to the music while they're getting the shit kicked out of them by the
The big
alien
squid
thing.
and
then it's like like the hat scene was pretty good and like
Actually, I love that hat scene so much. It's so good.
they just have weird shaped heads or what's going on?
No. He doesn't want you wearing his hat. Oh, okay, good. He doesn't want to wear it as a hat either. He doesn't like wearing hats. Actually, he just doesn't like hats on anybody. Things are weird because they might take it off and have weird shape. That's why you don't like hats. It's like such a stupid reason.
Like all in all, to summarize my feelings about it, it was fun.
Yeah.
There could have been some improvements, but it's like I'd give it like personally if I had to rate it, maybe like an 8.5 out of 10.
Yeah.
It's for what it's trying to be, it achieves it really well.
Yeah.
Barring a few scenes here or there that could
Yeah.
have been cut short. That's it.
Yeah,
And-
like that's where I feel that's why I have such a hard time believing in DC is they haven't figured out how to make their characters likable or fun.
Yeah.
To a majority.
They're still enjoyable movies to me, just less so.
They like to do that dark spin on there, and like I get like DC comics, they like most comics have like a dark air quote there origin story. Like Batman, his parents died. Like then you got Superman, his whole planet blew up. Everyone has this like super sad origin story, but like they're trying to make all their movies super dark, and like the Dark Knight trilogy pulled that off.
But
going
also
the dark route, but. They tried doing that with Batman v Superman. They've tried doing that with Man of Steel. It's just not working.
The Dark Knight or like Batman is a lot better choice for a dark trilogy than any other DC superhero.
My parents, though.
Yeah, but it's like Superman. No one wants to see Superman. Like
No,
Superman's a boring character.
Yeah, he's kind of boring.
It's not that he's a boring character. He's just overpowered. Like, I am allergic to a rock. That is my only weakness. Like, that really just...
See, you say that, but, it's the core of a planet. I guarantee someone pulls a piece of the core of the Earth and shows it to you. You're probably going to be melting pretty quick, too.
You show me the person who pulls the core from the Earth, and then I will tell you I will gladly die.
But the difference between that is, I die a lot of ways. I could die by a million different things, including the core of the Earth.
You're not on another planet, though.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe the other planet's green sun can keep me invincible.
That's like the only difference with him. It's like the color of the sun is different, which is what makes him have his powers.
Yeah.
Which is why with Batman v Superman, when he's in space there, and then the sun slowly rotates around the Earth, slowly grazing him, and then he comes back all powered up, it's because the yellow sun powers him. The red sun, drains his powers, he becomes a human.
What's with Superman in colors? Didn't, pink kryptonite make him gay for a little
Yeah. Don't know what the fuck...
They like the colors in DC. Like, Green Lantern has his colors, and...
Yeah, that's just it. Like Green Lantern, Yellow Lantern, White Lantern, Black Lantern, Red Lantern. There's all a bunch.
This is why comics are stupid.
To an extent, like I'm reading the Wolverine comics, and yeah, actually they're pretty bad.
We've gone over this multiple
Yeah, I
times.
know.
And I haven't explained how I hate comics.
No, I wanted to, like, literally, because I've read quite a few Wolverine comics as of late, mainly reading to his origin stories and leading up to the Logan storyline from the movie. Actually, the Westchester incident leading up to Old Man Logan. That's the comic I'm on now. But the amount of, like, there's, like, I'd say probably, like, 15 to 20 comics in this one hardcover that I got. And it depicts it all. But that storyline is so rough to get through. Like, I'm reading it, but, like, Wolverine, like, he's taking out S.H.I.E.L.D. and shit like that because he's controlled by Hydra. All this nonsense. And then, like, he gets back under the S.H.I.E.L.D. now, and he's helping the S.H.I.E.L.D. fight off Elektra, who's now under the control of the Hand.
It's just, it's so convoluted. I can't.
Yeah, that's exactly where it's like, they just retcon half the shit.
Pretty much.
They're just like, oh, we made this whole series.
Fuck it, new universe.
New universe, we decided that one sucks, we're a new one.
Yeah.
This one's better.
Ignore it, retcon it. You
Yeah.
know, like, why can't we just come up with new characters?
Yeah.
You know, like, and
I still want Captain Canada, man. I don't give a shit. Captain Canada needs to happen.
they're just gonna give it to Kevin Smith, and he's gonna make a bunch of pot jokes or something.
Actually, we have Captain Canuck already, but
Yeah, I know.
that's very shitty.
Yeah. Still,
The very lackluster comic.
when I say I hate comics, I'm using like the most egregious examples would be like the Flash and Speed Force.
Oh,
And how
and
stupid that is.
Flashpoint. Actually, the Speed Force didn't actually exist for the longest time. It took a while into the comics for them to actually depict what was going on.
It's such a stupid mulligan. They're like, oh, why is he doing this? Oh, well, Speed Force makes it so that they envelop the other person, don't rip their arm off when he grabs them. It's like, that is fucking dumb, and you should feel bad for thinking that.
No, the Speed Force doesn't do that. The Speed Force, all the Speed Force is where he gets his power from.
Yeah.
He gets his power from the Speed Force. The Speed Force just powers him up.
You ask anybody why when he grabs someone and runs with them, why he doesn't fucking rip their arm off or disintegrate due to friction. They're like, well, the Speed Force surrounds the person that he grabs and he pulls with them.
Oh no, that's
people
fucking
have
horseshit.
said that.
Yeah, but
people
that's horseshit.
have said that. It's the same reason that I think Cyclops is a fucking loser too. You know, his lasers aren't really eye lasers; they're portals to another dimension, and that dimension has pure kinetic energy. It's called the punch dimension, and he shoots punch lasers out of his eyes. It's the fucking dumbest.
I don't know if you're making shit up or not right
That's
now.
what happens when you try to explain things. That's why metachlorians, people just lost their shit.
Yeah.
Like, try to explain it, just accept it, and be like, this is how it is.
The metachlorian count.
Yeah, where it's like, oh, he's got metachlorians off the charts.
This is why, like, honestly, I think they should just come up with new characters. And the biggest threat to any, like, interesting character is explaining anything. Don't explain nothing.
Just let them die.
Just let them die a hero, and don't fucking give them 30 subsequent issues and an extra issue about their fucking origins and shit.
Yeah, that's why. Also, why I don't like DC movies where they're just
Marvel's bad for it too, man.
No, DC's the worst. How many times have we seen the Batman origins? How many times? Explain that to me.
Well, we've seen Spider-Man's just as often.
Yeah.
Nope,
Yeah.
not nearly as much.
Yeah, we have.
No. We've seen. Don't get me wrong. We've seen a lot of Spider-Man. I'm not going to deny that. But it hasn't been nearly to the extent of Batman. Batman has been beaten into our heads. His origin story has been literally beaten down.
What about Fantastic Four? They're also a Marvel series, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, but Fantastic Four had 2 iterations, and they were completely different from each other.
Yeah,
for
but they're
their
still a
origin
Marvel
stories.
property.
Oh yeah, actually no, they're owned by Fox.
The IP, yeah, in cinematic, but we're talking like comics.
Oh, well, I wasn't saying the origin stories in the comics.
And no, I'm saying like,
that we've seen origin stories.
I'm saying the actual characters are Marvel characters, and
Yeah.
they're just as guilty
How so?
because we've seen their origin story like
Twice.
3 times actually. If you count the original, what is it, late '80s, early '90s movie that's actually widely regarded as the best version of them because they're actually lighthearted.
There was one back in the...
Yeah, there's a really goofy
Oh,
one
okay, I
where
didn't
he
know
actually
that.
stretches his arms and they're like sock puppet arms that come out.
Oh.
And the thing's just covered in like plastic and shit.
Oh.
It's goofy,
I
but
haven't seen that one.
it's worth looking up.
Okay, yeah,
and
but no.
Captain America also had a really bad one where
He had a TV series.
there was like a movie I think where he
Oh, yeah, he
he
had a
like
bad movie
he
too.
steals a car from someone. Yeah, it's like Captain America getting to his next location, feigns like he's gonna get sick on the side of a road, and then when the guy comes to help him, he's like, "All right, sir, just wait. What's that over there?" And then he runs into the car and steals the car, and he does this not once but twice in the movie. And like that's supposed to be your fucking hero.
That's a great shtick.
It is, yeah.
Great stick.
But like, Marvel's just as bad, and yeah, like DC's gotten heat for it because they're doing it now. They're not, like they're equally as guilty as Marvel in this case.
I guess, but I think it's because Marvel releases so many different movies in between their origins, where Batman, it was basically, we had our like series of Batman that end like the last one came out, I'd say earliest 90s, like
What, like Michael Keaton Batman?
whatever, that original trilogy.
Yeah, that
they
was
had.
like 91 or something.
Yeah, the last one came out in like the 90s, and then we had the revamp for the DC Batman again, early 2000s ish. I think
Batman Begins?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was 2001, I think.
Yeah, early 2000s, okay? So yeah, there you go. You got about a 10-year gap for that one origin story. And yes, I know Spider-Man's just as bad for that. But we've also, like, in between that time, what did DC release for superheroes? They released Superman Returns, and that was about it.
Yeah, but that was a continuation of the old 80s.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That was it. They released one continuation, but other than that, they stuck with, okay, we're going to bring back Batman again. Marvel at least went, okay, let's try and bring in Captain America, let's bring in the Hulk, let's bring in Thor, let's bring in all these people. They tried building a world, like, they started their universe after that.
But like early Marvel, like those Hulk movies.
Oh, they were shit, don't get me wrong.
No, but like they did the Hulk, like the
Plus.
Eric Bana version, and then the Edward Norton version.
Yep.
And then, yeah. But my part with DC is like they haven't made a good movie.
Not in a long time.
Like
Entertaining movies, I'd say.
No,
For me.
yeah, like they
personally.
could be entertaining,
Yeah.
but they haven't made a good movie.
Yeah, structurally wise, they're not good.
They're not like the like
They're not as bad as people say, but
Yeah. Other than the Dark Knight trilogy, which I
don't think DC Studios was directly involved with that.
Yeah,
I think it
I'm
was
saying
Warner Brothers.
those all I isolate from the rest of them, but like they have not made a good movie.
Yeah.
Or it's like they make entertaining movies. Like I think Marvel is not great movies, but like they make decent
They're
movies.
competent.
They're competent movies where
Yeah.
like if you look at Batman v Superman or all the Superman movies and Green Lantern and shit, it's just like this is not a good movie with things around it. And it's like
You know what? You want to know what I did to make Man of Steel a lot more entertaining? Go into that pretending that's a Dragon Ball Z movie, and it makes it way more fun. Because that is the closest we'll ever get to seeing the Vegeta Nappa arc in Dragon Ball Z on live screen.
He's actually got a point.
It's the
I've-
closest we're ever gonna get.
I don't think he's ever seen an episode of Dragon Ball Z.
I've seen like 2 in my life.
Okay.
He doesn't.
I
Watch
know-
that first. And
I know who Vegeta. There's way too much yelling and random nonsense in between
much,
and
it's-
everything else that happens.
We're talking an old late 70s, early 80s shonen manga.
Yeah.
Pause this real quick.
In my plans.
I'm gonna kill the president, Donald Trump. Don't cut that out.
Every time we cut it. Don't cut that out.
Yeah, no, I mean, honestly, like I've never not enjoyed it. Well, I mean, I say that now, but I'm gonna say Green Lantern I disliked. But I haven't really like hated DC movies like everybody else does. Everybody kind of comes in with this precognition that like it's gonna be shit because Marvel's already a thing, and I'm just like, I'm just gonna go in seeing a movie. I don't care what they do with it, as long as I'm not bored, I won't walk away.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
My bad. My only one I really didn't like was Batman v Superman. Was because like the whole dream sequence thing was stupid.
Yeah, went
And-
on a little too long. Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty dragged on, and the Martha thing made me want to punch the writers in the face.
Martha!
No, you gotta say it the way he just.
Yeah, like that's such a lazy written thing, and it pisses me off.
The way I had it explained to me was that it wasn't the fact that they had the same names. It was more like the fact that Superman cares about someone other than himself that really snapped Batman out of it. Was that he was so worked up in the heat of the moment, but even as he's about to kill Superman, he was like, "Don't, Martha! They're gonna kill Martha, not me. I don't care about me.
Yeah.
They're gonna kill my mother."
Yeah.
And that's
My
what,
human mother.
That's what snapped them out of it more or less than the fact that they had the same names. The coincidence that they had the same names was more or less what made him realize that he's killing someone who doesn't care that he's gonna die. He cares about a human, you know. And he's like, okay, I'm trying to kill this guy. For what reason again? Because he could be evil. And even right before he's about to die, he's not caring about survival. You know, like, I think personally that's what I took it out as. And everybody thinks that it was because they had the same name. of their mothers.
That's how they
They kind of
kinda
didn't
how-
explain it.
on
Yeah.
the surface. That's how they explain
Yeah,
it.
like when you see it originally, it's like, yeah, that's obviously, I don't blame people for coming off with that assumption.
Yeah.
But when I was thinking about it, it seemed a little bit more clear. Thinking about, like, Bruce is obviously a thinking man, you know? Who wouldn't try to combat a space alien by blasting sound at him through giant Dolby speakers, right? You know?
Like, but it was like the one scene that like I really enjoyed was when Batman was like going around doing Batman things and like using his grappling hook and getting all those villains.
Yeah.
And then I forget which scene it was. Was probably like the worst scene was right after that. I think it was someone was talking about it, and it was like either the dream sequence or the Martha scene was like directly right around it, and it's just like you follow up your best scene in the movie with the worst scene, and it was just like
there was a lot of mistakes they made in
Yeah.
that movie. Like, what's her name, Lois Lane, throwing the spear in the water. And then immediately coming right back to grab it again. It's like, well, we didn't need to see that. Why couldn't you just cut that out and have her just grab it off the ground or something, you know? That was a waste of fucking 5 minutes.
and also where it's like those movies are way too damn long.
Yeah.
Like, and then apparently Justice League is 3 hours long.
Yeah, that's their game plan.
And it's
See,
like-
but the thing, the only reason I think Batman v Superman lasted, like, felt like it was so long, and like this is why I say this too. Is along with the whole DC hasn't made a very good movie. Like, I'm not even holding hopes for Wonder Woman. I'm holding hopes that Justice League is the redemption. Wonder Woman for me is their filler. We're throwing this out there to pander to the fans to keep them satisfied enough until we release Justice League. So I don't even consider it them putting an effort into a movie.
I don't know
I
what
think
to expect.
I would bet on, if I were to bet on which one's a better movie, I would see myself betting. I would bet on what's her name,
Wonder Woman?
Yeah.
ahead of Justice League.
Yeah.
I feel like they're gonna do their way of, let's do 20 minutes to explain Cyborg. Now let's do 20 minutes to explain Flash. Now let's do 20 minutes to explain who's the other guy that's new. Aquaman.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's
Khal
just gonna,
Drogo in the water.
yeah, and it's gonna be like, okay, let's.
Cyborg, not really. Like, yes, they'll touch base on all of them, I agree. That's why Wonder Woman isn't in it. Like, they're not going to give Wonder Woman a new origin story. Wonder Woman's movie is her origin story, which is cutting that out. So they only have to bring in 3 new characters. However, with the clips that you see in Batman v Superman, you basically know how Cyborg came to be. You just don't know what happened to him prior to it. And you just don't know exactly who it was that did it. And by the looks of what the trailer is the main villain is that same guy that turned Cyborg into Cyborg.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, the villain story arc, origin story, to bring up the plot line could easily just be showing you how Cyborg was made as well. So that's killing 2 birds with 1 stone right off the bat. As for the Flash storyline and the whole idea of how he got his powers, it's a very simple storyline they could do in literally a quick clip like they did Batman's origin story like in Batman v Superman.
I'm saying they can, but I don't think they will.
Flash they probably will due to the fact that a lot of people have a lot of quarrels with the fact that they're using a different Flash from the TV series. And not a lot of people like the actor for who the Flash is in the movie at the moment. Not that I'm not saying he wasn't a good movie. I didn't like his character in Fantastic Beasts personally, but other than that, I haven't seen him in much. And as for Aquaman, there's actually a lot of high hopes for Aquaman, and there's not much of an origin story you can really give for him. They can just explain to you of who he is. That's about it.
Yeah, I just think
Like, there's no real origin story. It's not like he gains special powers or something. He's just from Atlantis. That's like that's his shtick. He controls the water. He's the king down there. That's his origin story. So all you need to know is that he's known. That is it.
Yeah, I see myself. I could easily see myself. Like, I put my chance of liking Wonder Woman a lot higher than what's it called, Justice League.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, personally, I think that the Wonder Woman movie is going to be a retread of the Captain America movie because they're very similar characters from what I understand.
Yeah.
Like, World War II character who's unearthly strong, intervenes in some weird plot going on. That's more or less what I summarized that as.
Yeah.
I don't know what exactly they're going to do with it, but I just know that if it holds up, it's not going to be that great. It's just going to be,
It's gonna be there.
It's going to be okay, and I'm not going to hate it like everybody else will,
Yeah. I forget.
I'm not going to demand Zack Snyder resign from directing like every other movie people seem to do.
Yeah. The trailer didn't give me much hope because they made a joke and it was not a good joke and they like held on it for like 5 extra seconds.
That slave one, it's like, oh, she's your slave? No, she's my assistant. That one.
I don't remember. It was some like big lady who was just like, oh, you got, or I forget what they were doing, and then it was like right at the end of one of the trailers, and it was like now hold on this for 5 extra seconds. It's like, it's not a good joke.
Yeah.
Why is this how you promote your movie? And it's, I don't know.
To the one person in the back, we get it.
Yeah.
You know?
Like, honestly, I don't have this mentality that everybody seems to have about these movies, that they have to be perfect, they have to do my character justice. They're movies, people.
Like,
you either like them or you don't. You're not gonna demand someone lose their fucking career over a movie that you didn't happen to enjoy. The bottom line is, did it make its money back in the box office? Yes, then they're going to make another one.
Yeah, exactly.
If not, then that person probably won't do another movie like that.
That's exactly. It's a business. That's why. Like, oh, why don't they make this movie about this random thing? It's because why would they make, or like when people argue, oh, they never make new things. It's all just rehashing of old shit. It's like, that's because they all make money. Every single one.
Here's the thing. People are going into these movies expecting new cinematic ground to be broken. You're going to the wrong fucking theaters if you think that's what you're expecting.
Yeah.
You don't go to a Marvel movie expecting a new technique of filming to be
Actually, your best bet to see a new, unique movie is to go to like Sundance and shit like that.
Much,
Independent films that will break that wall, that want to show you something different that you haven't seen.
People are expecting these movies to break new ground the same way they expect fucking pop music on the radio to come up with a new genre. You're listening and watching the wrong thing if that's what you're expecting. Yeah. And that's what I go into with these DC movies. They're fucking filler schlock to occupy my time. Yeah. Did I enjoy my time watching it? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't regret it.
Yeah, I don't regret it. It's just, it always seems there's for the movies, it's like, oh, there's a bunch of scenes that are entertaining, and then it's like, and these 4 scenes were twice as long as they should be. And it's just like, if they... The thing is, like, I see it's like, there was a good movie there, and then they just did things to make it not entertaining to me.
They dilute the value of the rest of the movie.
They had some good scenes that were entertaining, and then they had scenes that took me out of it and made me look at my clock and think like, oh, there's still another hour left in this movie, eh? And then
personally, when I think about it like this, between the two, a lot of people compare what's his name, Zack Snyder, to the guy who makes the Transformers movies. What's his name?
Michael Bay.
Michael Bay, yeah. People compare the two. They're both very visually oriented filmmakers. Uh-huh. They like to focus on the look of the movie rather than the meat of it. Mm-hmm. The difference between the two, I've never walked out of a Zack Snyder movie. I've walked out of a Michael Bay movie.
Really, which one?
The one where they bring the fucking planet right next to Earth, and it gets halfway there. Yeah.
The Dark of the Moon. Or
is that what it's called?
I've only seen the first.
Maybe
two.
I think that's the third.
Did
that have Mark Wahlberg in it?
I don't remember.
Was it a LaBeouf movie?
The part that I walked out of was right at the climax of it, and I was struggling to stay in the theater. They had this big fucking stupid plot about how they were going to organize these dumb teleporters all over New York, and during the hundreds of times the main character should have died being exploded around the place, he finds the one master thing to stop the fucking planet being in the stratosphere that would have already destroyed the planet given its gravitational pull being there in the first place. And he finds the master button that shuts everything off coincidentally happened to be the same size as a human hand. I walked right out at that point. I was like, I could my suspension of disbelief can maintain that it's a big dumb action movie, that these robots are teleporting an entire planet that close to Earth.
Yeah.
But the moment he got to the master turn off button, and it wasn't even the same size as one of the robot's fingers, it was the same size of his hand.
Like, did it have like a hand silhouette on it?
It was just about that big. It was like just big enough for his hand to fit on. And it's like, you compare that to the size of one of the robot's fingers, and they could barely push. It'd be like us trying to push the reset button on a piece of electronics. Yeah. We couldn't fit our finger in there.
Clip?
Yeah, and it was like, that was essentially the size of the human's hand. I was like, okay,
maybe that's the whole point. They needed the paperclip to get in there.
Why would they have that in the first place?
I don't fucking know. Why do we have it?
You don't want to hit it by accident.
It was the dumbest, and I walked right out. I didn't regret it. And
I've never walked out of a movie.
Yeah, I don't know if I have. I think I might.
I would have a couple times, except I didn't want to just leave the person I was with. Oh. And it was just like.
Yeah, actually no. I've been in that boat.
I don't know why. Like, Pain and Gain was the one movie I despised in theaters. Like,
that was so bad.
it probably like if I reset my memory and had no recollection of it and watched it again, I probably wouldn't dislike it as much. But I just at that time I wanted to just get out of there because it was just I felt like they were just like, see, they're stupid.
Oh.
See,
Yeah.
they're stupid, and just like kept poking at like,
Who?
look at them, they're stupid.
Yeah.
Oh, the people in theater?
No,
Oh, the main
movie
characters.
was like, do you see how stupid Mark Wahlberg is? He's doing this. Do you see Anthony Mackie? He's doing stupid things. Do you see
yeah.
The Rock? He's stupid. That's how my recollection of it is. Like, I'm sure it's not as bad as
All
my
you
memory.
hear, all you hear in Max like director's cut during the movie, Mark Wahlberg scene. See, he's stupid.
No, just commentary featuring what's your last name? Mackenzie something or other. He's a Winnipegger. Look him up.
Look him up.
He's hard to miss.
He doesn't even have Facebook.
I'm off the grid.
It'd be like director's commentary, and it'd just be you proceeding to get like super tanked on Jack Daniels while trying to ignore the movie that's like you're being forced to watch.
Yeah.
You know, like
That's what it felt like. The whole movie was just like, see.
yeah.
Like, have you seen that movie?
No, and I
No.
refuse to.
I
I
have.
haven't watched the Michael Bay movie since I walked out of
Was
that
that Michael Bay?
It was Michael Bay, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. That was the closest I've ever been to walking out. But
Like-
I would if I was.
So I assume you haven't seen the new Ninja Turtles then?
No. I mean, he had a part in it, but he didn't direct it. But
Oh, really?
yeah.
I thought he directed it.
No, he was a producer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think
But
that,
it was
that's
very
the,
obvious he had his fucking finger in that movie.
Oh,
yeah. That's the movie where I'd be like, if I was by myself, I would have walked out halfway through.
Yeah.
Like I would have been like, no, I'm good.
I can't say the same for Zack Snyder, honestly. People like to paint him as this big, villain.
Dickhead.
Of,
What else did he direct other than?
Sucker Punch,
Ooh, I like
300,
that one.
Watchmen. He did some good stuff.
I
like
haven't
Watchmen.
actually seen The Watchmen.
It was good.
I've like never gotten. However, I finally seen like a scene of like Rorschach, like when they actually unmask him and everything, and he like freaks out about his face.
Give me back my face.
Yeah, no, it's because I was watching like a top 10 list of like the best unmaskings, and of course Batman was in there, but nonetheless, the Rorschach scene came up, and I like just seeing Rorschach, how he reacted, like the whole premise behind his character. I was just like, I kind of want to watch this actually. Like he seems like a pretty cool character.
I'd actually recommend it.
It's got Negan in it. He's the comedian.
Yeah. it's
But anyways,
good. Honestly, a lot of people hate Zack. They paint him like this big villain because of his DC involvement.
I also those like the movies I've seen of those, like I saw Watchmen and 300. It's like I have the same problems with them as I do the DC movies. They're just dragged on and like Watchmen was at 235. Like,
yeah, Watchmen is a long.
That's
movie.
a long. 300 is not as bad, but like still, I lose interest halfway through the movies because every scene of his seems to be 30 seconds too long.
Yeah, I agree.
And
he likes to linger on the visuals.
Yeah, and that's if you get 30 seconds to every scene, it's just like then you're adding 20 minutes to your movie.
Yeah.
Of unnecessary nonsense.
I mean, personally, I come at these movies and I actually really enjoy decent cinematography. Like if I see a shot that I go, wow, that looks all right. It makes me enjoy the movie a little bit more.
Yeah.
And seeing as that Zack Snyder himself is like I mentioned, he's a very visual oriented director. Yeah. He likes to make shots look pretty. I find that kind of distracts me a little bit from the shady plot.
If I watch movies like when I'm like looking at it that way, I feel it takes away. I get out of the movie and I'm just watching the
scenery.
The scenery, or not the scenery, but like if I'm going in and be like, oh, that's a well done shot, then I'm just thinking about that as opposed to the movie.
Yeah.
I want the movie to be. I want to focus on the movie.
Yeah.
And not
to be immersed.
Yeah, I want to be immersed in the movie. So I don't like going into a movie and like looking at the direction and stuff like that.
Yeah. Personally, that's how I approach it.
Yeah, like other people, it works for them, but I want to go to a movie where I'm concentrating on the movie. That's where it's like when like D-Box and stuff like that, where it's like I feel like it just distracts me from the actual movie. Like I would pay not to use it. So it'd be like all of a sudden I'm like, I went to see a movie in there, and then it's like all of a sudden it's like shaking your chair, and I'm like, oh this is.
God.
And it's like now I'm concentrating on the chair instead of the movie.
Oh, the D-Box.
Yeah. And I was just like, I don't want this.
I don't know. It depends on the movie. I think. Like I've done D-Box, and D-Box doesn't take me out of it all the time, but there has been some where it does. Like, and like it depends on the movie too, because I did D-Box for Jurassic World, which wasn't really worth it really. It was like the only part that was really cool was when like
They're in the hamster ball.
Yeah, they're in the hamster ball. Like they're in spheres that move just like the chairs should. So like it matches, right?
Did
But I
you
want
do a full 360 like they do in the movie?
sadly no.
Ugh.
But like I've watched Fast and the Furious, not the most recent one, the one before it, number 7 in theaters. I saw it in D-Box, and I'm thinking Fast and the Furious, moving chairs, man, this is gonna be awesome. No, it was fucking shit. Like, cause you'd think when they're doing their drifts or crazy stunts, the chair would like kind of shift with it. No, it was off par.
I think I'd have the same problem with that as I do 3D, where it just I get distracted.
Sometimes I feel 3D is just overdone now.
It's so distracting for me.
It
I had
just
the
kinda
same problem with Guardians of the Galaxy as I had Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah.
Personally, this is just because I wear glasses too. I figured out why Ghost in the Shell looked blurry to me.
Yeah.
It's because the fucking glasses were pushing my stupid fucking lenses right up to my face, and my eyelashes were blinking on my lenses, and it was, greasing them up, as hair does. And then it would, in turn, blur my glasses. And on top of that, besides things looking blurry, when things in the 3D pop out are like in front of you, they look small to me. They look like miniatures, and I get so distracted by that.
Touch a tiny thing.
One particular shot from Guardians of the Galaxy really stood out to me was when they were driving the car up the lane as the introduction to Ego. And it was...
Like him and Peter Quill's mom?
Yes, and
Yeah.
it zoomed in and it showed them. The whole thing of the car coming up, it looked like a fucking toy car driving along the road. And it distracted the shit out of me.
What song were they listening to there? I don't remember.
Something...
Some 70s.
It was bad.
Alright.
All old music sucks. Everybody get down with the Skrillex.
Oh my god, don't even get me started on Skrillex. Nonetheless. Alright, so we'll see you next week. Don't forget to hit up our Twitter, Tomfoolery Pod, and we'll catch you next week.
Whoop whoop!